Oh, David, what the f were you thinking?
I've heard people say, something must be wrong with Halle Berry. She can't keep him in.
What is David Justice talking about? Oh, he divorced Halle Berry because she didn't.
A wife at that time should cook, clean.
Traditional.
And then I'm thinking, okay, if we have kids, is this the woman I want to have kids with and build a family with? And at that time, as a young guy, she don't cook, don't clean, don't really seem like motherly.
You married Halle Berry in her prime as a movie star and you're expecting her to cook and clean? Excuse me, the most money David Justice ever made.
David, why you lying? Stop lying. Hey y'all, welcome to the channel. My name is Sessa and you're welcome to Sessa's Spill. We're spilling about Halle Berry and her first husband, which is now our ex-husband. He's out here spilling stuff saying Halle Berry wasn't the perfect wife. She couldn't cook, she couldn't clean. You guys, this man was literally butchered and slaughtered. Well, not by all. We have diverse opinion here. So let's go see what we put out about all of these, and I will be back.
Oh, David, what the f were you thinking? She couldn't cook or clean, so you didn't know if she could be a good mother? Really? Sir, did you forget that you're on a podcast and everyone can hear what you're saying? David Justice was on the All the Smoke podcast, and he was just chatting about his career and life. Matt Barnes, you are funny. But David was feeling comfortable, and he started talking about his first marriage to Halle Berry. Let me start off by saying he does acknowledge that they were young and it was his frame of mind during that time. And he does acknowledge that he didn't know anything about therapy at the time, and if it were now, the marriage probably would have lasted. But the thing is, when he first brought up Halle, he started off shady.
She asked me to marry her after knowing me for 5 months. And
Nothing really wrong with that, right? But weird because you were acting like you just did her a favor. And then he says,
because I was young and had only been in, honestly, one real relationship before her. My knowledge and my understanding, my wisdom around relationships just wasn't vast. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking at my mom, and I'm a Midwest guy. So in my mind, I'm thinking a wife at that time should cook, clean, traditional. And then I'm thinking, okay, if we have kids, is this the woman I want to have kids with and build a family with? And at that time, as a young guy, she don't cook, don't clean, don't really seem like motherly.
it's the early 90s and they are in their prime, okay? 26, 27. Halle had just done Jungle Fever, Strictly Business, and when they met, she was in Boomerang. Iconic. David Justice was with the Atlanta Braves. They meet, and according to David, she proposes after 5 months and he just couldn't say no. So they get married. She's in the Flintstones, remember this? After that, losing Isaiah, David and the Braves win the World Series. She signs a contract with Revlon. She's in BAPS. 3 years into their marriage, David makes it clear he's the one that left her. But did you know that while they were separated, Halle filed a restraining order against David, citing fears for her personal safety, and of course, he denied all of the claims. Even though he left her because she didn't cook or clean and probably wouldn't be a good mother, he's been real vocal about her. Like when she was going through a very public breakup, David had a lot to say. David married his second wife, Rebecca, in 2001. They've been married ever since. I think they have 3 children. But apparently his marriage to Halle has been somewhat haunting him, because Halle has talked about how she was in an abusive relationship in 1991 where she lost 80% of her hearing because of this mystery man who's known in Hollywood. People assumed it was David Justice, even though they didn't meet until 1992. Her ex-boyfriend, Christopher Williams, told everybody allegedly it was Wesley Snipes. Yes, it's all messy, okay, but clearly David, he's not over it. Sir, you've been married for over 25 years. You didn't even need to talk about Halle Berry. He should just be happy with his wife who could cook and clean, because I'm quite sure Halle is unbothered.
I've heard people say, something must be wrong with Halle Berry. She can't keep a man. Who's to say I want to keep a man? I don't want to keep the wrong man. Like, I'm not crazy.
No.
Right?
No.
So when you find that you make a mistake, we all make mistakes. We have a right to say, oh God, this was a mistake. Let me start again. We have a right to do that.
Did y'all see that old washed up MLB player that used to be married to Halle Berry talking about he didn't want to be with her anymore because she didn't cook and clean? You married Halle Berry and expected her to be on her hands and knees scrubbing baseboards, being barefoot pregnant and cooking and cleaning for you like a housewife? Bro, that's Halle Berry. This is what I mean when I say I don't understand men. Because why would you go out and marry one of the most successful, rich, recognizable women in entertainment and then expect her to come home and act like a normal ass housewife with no job? Like, no shade to housewives, but that's just not Halle Berry. She can hire someone to cook and clean. Why do you want her to do that? It's like when Ariana Grande's husband apparently wanted a divorce because he didn't realize how famous she was. Just keep breathing and breathing and breathing and breathing. You don't realize who you married? Did you Google her? She's Ariana Grande. Your mama probably got her songs on her playlist. Are y'all dumb? When a woman gets married to a very successful man, whether it's an athlete or attorney or doctor or whatever the case may be, she's not expecting him to get on his knees and do housework. So why do y'all expect that? You think Ariana Grande is just gonna drop the mic for you? Be fucking serious.
This just in. Okay, let me see if I understand this correctly. This dude divorced Halle Berry. Yes, the Halle Berry, because he said she didn't cook, clean, or seem motherly. What? That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, I want to know, did he run this divorce decision by any of his guy friends? Or forget the guys, did he run it past any of the women in his life? Mother, aunt, sister, cousin? Did he run it past the church? Did he run it past the cashier at the local grocery store? Like, I'm thinking about divorcing Halle Berry because she doesn't cook or clean. What did you just say? Are you dumb? It doesn't even make any sense. I'm mad that none of his guy friends tried to talk any sense into him, unless he's got those guy friends who are plotting on the demise of their relationship. They're like, yeah, you should go ahead and divorce her. That ain't right. You deserve better. And then these same fools will show up to her doorstep the next day with a bottle of wine and roses like, I can't believe he divorced you. If you were my girl, I would have never let you go. You got to watch out when you have an attractive significant other, because you got some of those friends sometimes who will try and plot and scheme so that they can swoop in. I've seen it. And some people, they actually assist in the destruction of their own relationship by giving their significant other's number to their friends. And then they wonder, I can't believe my best friend and my boyfriend or girlfriend just cheated on me. You gave them the number. You let them get a little closer. Don't be shy. Hell no. Listen, if you need to get in contact with me and you call my number and I don't answer, I'm busy. If you send me a DM and I don't answer, I'm busy. You don't need to call my girlfriend or wife to, is Steve around? Hell no. Don't worry about it. I'm busy. And I can't even fix my mouth to say, hey, let me get your girlfriend or wife's number in case I need to reach you. Get the fuck out of here. What? No. Some people, you just insecure, Steve. No. You can call me insecure all you want. I'm using common sense here. Anyway, back to this situation. I'm trying to figure out, because this guy was a baseball player. She's an actress. They were a power couple. She doesn't cook or clean. She's Halle Berry. Y'all have money. You could hire a personal chef to make you healthy meals, a housekeeper to keep the house clean so that you can enjoy those healthy meals in a clean environment. And she's got 2 kids now. She seems pretty motherly to me, so she would have been motherly back then too. What are you talking about? Now, some people be like, yo, why is Steve so passionate about this? Man, I had a huge crush on Halle Berry back in the day. Ever since I saw her in the movie Strictly Business, I was like, damn, who is that? And this dude had her and tossed her away because she couldn't pick up a mop or cook a tuna casserole. Are you serious? Come on, man. What? Oh, my God.
So David Justice spoke about his relationship with Halle Berry after all these years. I don't know. It's over 20, right? It's over 25, I think. And when they asked him the question about Halle Berry, this is what he should have said. Oh, man, she's a great woman, Oscar award-winning actress. I wish her well. That's what he should have said. But no, the 59 years old brother want to talk about, oh yeah, she didn't cook, she didn't clean, she didn't do this, she didn't do that. We didn't need to know. You had a whole career, you retired, had other kids. She had won an Oscar, had a relationship, had a child. You know? We didn't know. That part of your life was over. But you just was yapping.
Not that I got a dog in the fight, but y'all getting real disrespectful toward the David Justice. Listen, I know that y'all on the internet like to pick and choose who you like and who you don't. But calling David Justice names, saying that he washed up, saying that he's a nobody, being in the comments talking about who is he? Are you okay? If y'all gonna talk shit about David Justice, you might as well go ahead and add your precious Deion Sanders to that list too. Yes, this is a regular schmegular man at the end of the day, and men do expect for their wives to do certain things. Like, I'm completely confused. I didn't see the interview, but y'all's reactions is like hella weird. Like, I ain't married. I ain't never been proposed to, but ain't no way we in the same generation. Can't be. Not with some of the rhetoric and some of the things that I done heard people say. They think it's outlandish that they would expect for Halle Berry when she's not on set, not filming, not doing shit to act like a wife. But nonetheless, that ain't the point of the video. The point of the video is, y'all, David Justice is a 3-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champion. He was the Rookie of the Year in 1990, MVP in 2000, and he had a 2-time Silver Slugger Award and some additional accolades. Y'all get not too much. I ain't even no baseball fan, and I know that y'all gotta pipe down.
I think what is so annoying about this whole Halle Berry discourse, this unnecessary discourse that was created by her ex, a man that she was married to for about 4 years in the 90s. So again, almost 3 decades ago. A man that none of us would really know who he is if he didn't decide to have Halle Berry in his mouth and use her as a stepping stone to elevate himself during the interview. But yes, his comments were sexist, right? But also what is so frustrating is that him and Halle Berry were at the height of their careers in the late 90s, right? They were both making money, making a name for themselves. He knew who she was and he knew what she was about, right? He knew that she was successful in her career. She clearly was trying to be a successful, well-known, well-awarded actress. And still, despite knowing all of that, when they're dating and their courtship, he still decided to marry her. And because she didn't cook and clean, she wasn't motherly enough for him. As if they can't hire two individuals who are at the height of their career can't hire people to fill those roles because cooking and cleaning are not indicators of a good mother. And this goes back to my frustration with men. Not all men. I know I have to give that caveat before it ruffles some feathers. Is the fact that they will deliberately date women that are out of their league. They will deliberately date women who desires different things than them in regards to how they envision the structure of their home, the structure of their families, and would do so with the intention of humbling that woman, of getting her to go back on the boundaries that she set for herself. Instead of just finding someone who meets your standards, finding someone who desires the same thing you desire. Dating and courtship is the opportunity to suss out whether or not the person you're engaging in a relationship desires the same things that you do. And the moment you figure out that they don't, maybe you shouldn't marry them because you have a false hope that they're going to change one day.
So David Justice just did All the Smoke, and the Neighborhood Talk posted a clip. It's hilarious. He's talking about being married to Halle Berry. And he was like, she proposed to me after 5 months, and I didn't want to say no. I didn't want to hurt her feelings. And I was like, what is going on? And then he was like, I was looking at my mom. She don't cook, she don't clean. And, we would have made it if we would have had therapy. And I'm looking like, Negro, no, y'all wouldn't have. The way you talking right now, it doesn't sound like somebody who's a good lover. I wanted to tag Halle Berry so bad, but I was like, she got to find it for herself. She'll find it. But then he was like, she kissed a man on his lips in front of me, and she got mad because I hugged another woman that we went out to dinner with that was married, and it was this is bad. But he was like, it was no infidelity. And it's like, everybody knows it was infidelity. Okay? I know it's infidelity. And I was a kid when y'all were married. And I've heard from people in Atlanta that said you were a wild boy back in the day, David. And I think there was some DV. Oh, you can't. Halle Berry, you had some bad picks back in the day. You had some bad picks. Successful. Personality wise, they were bad picks.
Is it a coincidence that this interview with David Justice is getting all this feedback today, which is Halle Berry's birthday? Happy birthday, Halle Berry. Let's start there. And I'm going to tell you, I have always been a Halle Berry fan. I love Halle Berry as much as a person can love a celebrity that she doesn't know. And I know they say she crazy, and I don't care nothing about that. I love her. She is fucking fabulous every day, and she's still fabulous. That's what I really love. But let me be honest with you. I did not hear anything about that story except through commentary. So I looked up the actual interview. And I'm here to tell you today that I got a slightly different take on that interview. Hear me out. Before you motherfuckers start calling me a pick-me, let me let you know that I am the furthest thing from a pick-me. But I was listening to what he said. And at the end of the day, what I got from the interview is that they were so young. And they made mistakes. He said, we know nothing about therapy. And perhaps if they had known about therapy, then they would still be together. That was one thing. And the thing about the cooking, that's the thing that got in your crawl. And I ain't mad at that because I got in my crawl too, because I would like to explain to David Justice that you got the baddest bitch on earth. You cannot expect the baddest bitch to cook in the bedroom and in the kitchen. You just can't. I don't relate cooking and cleaning with how good a parent someone is going to be either. So I agree 100% on that. I don't see that. I can understand how he might, because that's his frame of reference. But again, so many times in this interview, he pretty much was like, yeah, I was kind of wrong about that. I did this wrong and I did that wrong. And for that, I have mad respect for him, because a lot of fuckers don't do that. They don't do that. But I can say this, when you're young, you make a lot of mistakes. The only thing about the interview that I didn't appreciate is when he said, well, I was making all the money and I was paying all the bills. It's like, okay, that's true. We need to know that. Because all I know is that this sister was working everywhere. She was blowing up. And you just can't have it both ways. You just can't have the queen and then expect her to do basic bitch shit. No offense. Don't get me wrong. I shouldn't even say that, because I cook, right? I cook. I don't cook a lot for my man because my man's a vegan and he OCD. So you can imagine when you know. Okay, so no, I don't do that. But I ain't the baddest bitch either. If my man said, well, it'd be nice if you made me a meal from time to time. Okay, all right, I'm a team player. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make a little meal here. But one thing that's funny about this is that Halle Berry comes up, because my man told me straight up. He said he always had a crush. That's his crush. Always been a crush. He said, honey, if I had Halle Berry come around, honey, I'm sorry. If I'm going to leave, I said, my honey, I ain't mad at you. Because if Michael B. Jordan come along, your ass is history too. And I'm gonna take both of them. I'm gonna start with the twin that said we cousins with the partner's hair and the burgundy hats. So let's not get it twisted. Anyway, I just want to share my take on that, because I'm going to give him his kudos for saying that, yeah, we were young. And I made some major mistakes, but we have to keep in mind that that's his frame of reference. If this is all you know, is that, you country, you cooking and you cleaning, and that's what he know, and that's what women do. And you can't be but so mad at it, but they young. But I'm gonna tell you, this is all I'm gonna say. He said that she asked him to marry, and I remember that from back in the day. And I'm like, shit. I wish I looked like, I don't care how fine you are. I don't care how much I love you. I wish I looked like asking somebody to marry me. You better know who you are. And I'm going to close with that. Y'all have a good day.
So more on David Justice and Halle Berry. So people are arguing that some women want a traditional man, but then they criticize David Justice for saying he wanted a traditional wife. This is when I thought about it, I was like, they did not break up because she didn't cook and clean. That was not the reason. Okay, that was probably something that he saw, but I highly doubt the fracture and falling of their relationship was he was just like, you don't ever cook and clean around here, and you won't be a good mother to my kids. That was not why they broke up. It was a lot of arguing, it was a lot of disagreements, and I doubt it was over cooking and cleaning, and I don't think you're going to be a good mother. I doubt that's what came up. I think it was more like, you're an asshole. Well, why are you making me be an asshole? That's what I think it is. Also, was David Justice going to be a traditional husband if he wanted her to be a traditional wife, or was he just going to be a sport athlete that thought all he had to do was pay bills and then come home and get his D sucked and watch her cook and clean? Now, the one thing I did get, I understood what he was saying. Like, back then, that's how men thought. Like, that was like traditional. It was a bad way. You know what? I can't even say that because a lot of men thought like that. A lot of rich men still like that, and it's starting to shift a little bit. But that system doesn't work. I don't know. You got to get with somebody who is going to commit to the relationship just as equally as you are, and going for the athlete or entertainers, which I think is a bad choice unless they come from, you know, a really good family and they were already a good guy. Doesn't work a lot of times because regardless of if you're in a relationship with somebody, everybody wants to feel valued. And, you know, we've heard girls say all the time, I'm doing all of this work, I'm not appreciated, and all you're doing is paying all the bills. But I do get the man's perspective is like, I'm paying for everything, you're living this lavish life. So, you know, how am I about it too? But I think it's really superficial just to be like, you cook and clean and take care of the house and I just pay the bill. I think it's way more than that. I think it's way more than that, and I think we're starting to look into that, which is good. And I would just say, I think the biggest thing now, that a tool that we know now, is just communicate your expectations. That's a thing that a lot of generations or years before us that they didn't have, which we know about now. So communicate your expectations.
What is David Justice talking about? Oh, he divorced Halle Berry because she didn't...
David Justice is a liar. He said he divorced Halle Berry, but according to the documents, she is the one who filed for divorce. But he wants to rewrite the narrative, and Halle Berry has been married so many times. Unfortunately, it's not a hard thing for him to do, but she's actually the one who left David Justice.
Imagine being married to Halle Berry. Yeah, that Halle Berry, and saying you divorced her because she didn't cook or clean. The Halle Berry. Mind you, you're married to Halle Berry from 93 to 97, and in that span, she filmed 10 movies. But yes, why isn't she cooking? Why isn't she clean? Not to mention, you, the person married to Halle Berry, make a lot of money playing baseball. You can pay someone to cook and clean for both of you. It's not that Halle didn't love him enough, didn't give him enough kisses, wasn't around, worked too much, didn't stimulate him intellectually. She did not cook and she did not clean. And that's the issue David Justice had. Wow.
As a woman, when you date down, I've always said this, you will pay for it for the rest of your life. David Justice and Halle Berry got married in 1991, which is 33 years ago. And now they've been divorced for the past 25 years. But he's talking about her in an interview. And for all the men defending him, well, they asked him. You should know to not speak about your ex from 25 years ago. They asked him because he's not accomplished enough for him to talk about what he's doing, because he's not doing anything except riding his ex-wife's coattail. A married man sitting up there with a ring on his finger talking about his first wife. By the way, it's not you who chose to not have children with Halle Berry. Notice that all of her children are by white men. It's her who chose to not have children with you. She intentionally didn't get pregnant for you.
You're seeing what Halle Berry's ex-husband had said. So this is crazy. One, why are you still talking about this? But
until I decided to leave her in 1996. I remember Halle saying to me, hey, she asked me to marry her after knowing me for 5 months. So I'm looking at my mom, and I'm a Midwest guy. So in my mind, I'm thinking a wife at that time should cook, clean,
Traditional.
And then I'm thinking,
the one thing I'll give him in this instance is it was 1996, and the mentality back then was, women's supposed to do this, that, and the third, boom, boom, boom. Men's supposed to do this, that, and the third, boom, boom. For some reason, that mentality still applies to men, but not for women. But we're modernized now, right? So I get it from before 2025. Nah, that's not. But also, at that point, Halle Berry, I think, is already rich at that point. So, why would you be expecting her to clean? Cook, sure. Being able to cook, sure. Right? Clean? I had a maid service years ago before I even cracked 100,000. If I'm a millionaire, I can afford my maid service to come 3 times a week right now. That would be overkill, but I could afford to do that. So if I'm a millionaire, why would I want to clean? You feel me? I don't know. That's just, look, it's not personally. I personally don't like cleaning. I know some people do, so I'll give y'all that. Some people do like cleaning. Not I. I would expect my woman to know how to cook, because I can know how to cook, be able to, sure. But expecting her to cook every night or whatever, Halle Berry, be real, you know what I mean? I don't know the intricacies of their relationship, but I believe there was, legal stuff going on. I think there was restraining orders. I'm not really sure, all the intricacies, because I'm not really that impressed about other people's relationship. But expecting a very successful person or a rich person to cook and clean, even I get traditional, I get it, but expecting them to cook and clean, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
I mean, sometimes I wonder what these men want. You have a woman who was literally thriving in her career, doing well, and you say the reason why you couldn't have kids with her was because you thought she's not the perfect wife because she couldn't cook and clean. You guys, what are your thoughts concerning all of this? Please feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye for now.